So we'll go straight into the content. We already saw that it is from the Manasarovar that Devi takes Kamalam to do her puja to Shiva. This Nirmanam, who did the Nirmanam of Manasa Sarovar? Means it was Brahma. He created it with his mind itself. And because the Nirmanam of the Saras means, or Sarovar means lake. Because the Nirmanam of the Saras was done by the mind itself, it is called Manasa Sarovar. And we are aware that it is situated in the Himalayas and its waters are spatikam, pure or crystal clear, we say, right? And it is the Vasasthalam for Hamsa Pakshi. Always Hamsa Pakshi will be there. It is their favorite spot. Like how we all have favorite holiday spot. Like that, their favorite spot is the Manasa Sarovar. How do we know this information? The Nama Bhakta Manasa Hamsika that comes in Lalita Sahasranamam talks about this. And it says, we are saying that Brahma did the Nirmanam of Manasa Sarovar. That's why it's called, because it is done by the mind, we saw that it is called Manasa Sarovar. It is the mind or chittam of a bhakta that is compared to this saras. So it is a bhakta in his mind. His mind is the sarovar in which Devi resides in that sarovar as Hamsa Pakshi, in the roopam of Hamsa Pakshi. And there is also another similar nama in Lalita Sahasranamam, Muni Manasa Hamsika, that talks. It's very similar to what we saw the meaning is. See, we can literally take it to mean that in the Himalayas, in the Manasa Sarovar, the Hamsa Pakshis are there. It is a fact. When we have to internalize the meaning, then according to Advaita Shastram, Ekameva Advitiyam. There's only one, there's no second. So then we have to understand, we have to internalize and understand that a Bhakta's Chittam is only the Sarovar in which Devi, whoever is our favorite Devata, in that Devi or Narayana or Shiva, whoever is there, they are only seated in our Hridaya Kamalam. See, all this is towards the Kamalam, Padmam. So, Hridaya Kamalam we say, right? So, in our Hridaya Kamalam, that is in our Chittam Sarovar. Sarovar, that is the Chittam. Devi is seated as the Hamsa Pakshi in that lotus. Another shloka to support this is found in Saundarya Lahari, 38 shloka number. Samunmilat samvit kamalamakarandaikarasikam bhajeham sadvandvam kimapi mahatam manasacharam yadalapadashtadasha gunita vidya parinatihi yadadatte doshad gunamakhilamadbhyah payaiba. The gist of the shloka is, Shiva and Shakti are in the form of Hamseshwara and Hamseshwari seated in the Padmam that is there in the Manasa Sarovar. And this Manasa Sarovar, we have to understand, is the Chittam of Mahatam, means of great rishis. In their Chittam, they are happily seated in the Padmam, and their Alapana means their chat, their chit-chatting. Hamseshwaran and Hamseshwari, Shiva and Shakti in the form of Hamseshwara and Hamseshwari are having Alapana, they are chatting something, and from their Alapana, Ashtadasha Vidya is born. And Shiva and Shakti are in the Rupam of Hamseshwara and Hamseshwari we saw. And they are seated in the lotus. That lotus is described here. Samunmilat samvit kamalam akarandam. How is that lotus? Samunmilatna nangu malarnda, அப்படினாக்க well bloomed lotus, which is seen as the Jnanam. The Jnanam enum Tamarai. That lotus is seen as Jnanam. And Anandam is the Makarandam there. Makarandamna Madhu, nectar, we say, right? Honey. So I do my stotram on the Hamsa Dvandvam, referring to Shiva and Shakti in the Rupam of Hamseshwara and Hamseshwari, Hamsa Pakshi, seated in the lotus Padmam that is seen as Jnanam, and they are enjoying the makarandam that is seen as the anandam. அதாவது தமிழில் சொல்லணுன்னாக்க, நன்கு மலர்ந்த தாமரை இருக்குது, ஞானம் எனும் தாமரை. அதில் ஆனந்தம் எனும் மகரந்தத்தை மட்டும் ரசிச்சுருக்கா யார் அப்படின்னாக்கா, இந்த சிவனும் சக்தியும் ஹம்சபக்ஷியா, ஹம்சேஸ்வரன் ஹம்சேஸ்வரியாக உட்காந்துண்டு ஜாலியாக ஆனந்தமாக இருக்கான்னு அர்த்தம். when we get ஞானம் is nothing but that ஆனந்த அனுபவம், right? That is what they are doing in the Hamseshwara Hamseshwari Rupam, seated in the Jnana Kamalam. To such a Hamseshwara Hamseshwari Hamsadvandvam aham bhaje. Now, where is the location of this Jnana Kamalam? Mahatam Manasacharam means in the great Munis, Rishis, Yogis, Manas, which is the Saras. Because the waters of Manasa Sarovar are spatikam, pure, crystal clear we saw. Yogis and Rishis Manas are all very pure, spatikam. இப்படிப்பட்ட சரஸ்ல தானே இப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு தாமரை, ஞானம் எனும் தாமரை உதிக்க முடியும். In such great manas of Rishis only, right, can such a Jnana Kamalam be born. And in that, Shiva and Shakti are enjoying the Ananda Makarandam. And that is why we call great Atmas as Paramahamsa itself, right? So, and then the next two lines are saying that this Hamsa Dvandvam, that Shiva and Shakti, that who are in the Rupam of Hamseshwara and Hamseshwari, they are having a Sambhashanam. From their Paraspara Sambhashanam, what is born? 18 Vidyas are born. What are those 18 Vidyas? 4 Vedas. Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharva. Then 6 Vedangas. Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, Jyotisha. So 6 plus 4, 10. Then Mimamsa, Nyaya Shastram, Dharma Shastram, Purana, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Niti Shastram. These 18 Vidyas are born from the Paraspara Sambhashanam of the Hamsadvandvam. And the last line, generally Hamsa Pakshis have a unique quality of separating milk from the water. But this is not a normal Hamsa Pakshi. This is Shivan and Shakti, right? So what does this Hamsadvandvam do is, from the dosha, it extracts only the gunam. So this is the gist of this shloka. What we need here is the Kamalam. In this Kamalam that is found in the Chittam of great yogis, their Chittam is the Saras. The Kamalam that is there is seen as Jnana Kamalam. In that Jnana Kamalam, Hamsa Pakshi, Hamsa Dvandvam are seated and they are enjoying the Makarandam of that lotus flower. Now from here we will take a trip to Lalita Sahasranamam. Why? Because the Hridaya Kamalam that we talked about is the place of Anahata Chakram. So we all are aware of there are 6 chakras plus the Sahasraram. What are the 6 chakras? Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agnya, then the Sahasraram. The namas in Lalita Sahasranamam brings out the significance of lotus in each chakra. I will avoid too many details. I will just list everything. First is the Mooladhara Chakra. Where it is situated is the Guhyasthanam. Here the Yogini is Sakini, is the Yogini. And here the lotus, number of dalam, petals, is 4-petaled lotus. The nama is Mooladharam Bujarudha. Ambuja means lotus. That is the nama. Next is the Swadhisthana. The region between Nabhi and Mooladhara is Swadhisthana. The Yogini here is Kakini. How many petal lotus is here? 6-petaled lotus. The nama for this is Swadhishthanam Bhujagata. Next is the Manipuraka. It is situated in the Nabhi Desham. Lakini is the Yogini here. How many petaled lotuses? 10-petaled lotuses. The nama for this is Manipurabja Nilaya. Next is Anahata Chakram. It is situated in the Hridayam. Hridayam is the location. Rakini is the Yogini here. Here it is 12-petaled lotus. The nama is Anahatabja Nilaya. Next is Vishuddhi Chakra. The location is Kantha, throat or neck. And here the yogini is Dakini. It is 16 petaled lotus here, and the nama is Vishuddhi Chakra Nilaya. Next is Agnya Chakra. It is situated between the bhru, in between two eyebrows, bhru madhye. The yogini here is Hakini, and it is 2-petaled lotus here. The nama is Agnya Chakrabja Nilaya. Then is the Sahasraram. Sahasraram is the Brahmarandhram. For small babies, we will see on the head there is a small soft spot, right? That is called the Brahmarandhram. That is where the Sahasrara chakra is. Here the yogini is Yakini, and here it is 1000-petaled lotus, and the nama is Sahasradala Padmastha. So these are the yoginis who are stationed at each of our chakra, and the number of lotus petals in each chakra. And then in the commentary section of Lalita Sahasranamam, they have given a small detail about lotus. The lotus leaf, the Padma Patram, is seen as the Prakriti. The stalk of the lotus, the stem of the lotus is the Samvit. Samvit naka buddhi, jnanam, chittam எடுத்துக்கலாம். அப்புறம் கேசர, அதாவது on that stalk you can see small hair like filament sticking out. That is the Vikriti. They have not explained this, but from what we have seen thus far, starting from Narayaniyam, where Brahma is called Padmabhu, or even better Padma Yonihi, we can understand that this Padmam is a Bijam, or it is the Yoni from which Brahma was born, because we know that it was from the Nabhi Randhram of Mahavishnu that this stalk, lotus stem comes out, and in that Kamalam only Brahma is seated. And we also saw how Brahma wanted to know from where is this lotus coming from, so he wanted to explore. So he traveled through the stem and he only arrived at a dead end. He did not know where it came from, and then Mahavishnu gave him the darshanam of Vaikuntham we saw in Narayaniyam. So from this we can understand that Mahavishnu is the Prakriti. The stem that is arising from his Nabhirandhram is the Vikriti, because it has changed now. Changes, modifications have happened, and the lotus, the Padmam, the flower itself is the Buddhi to create, to make creation happen. This is my own inference. It is not given anywhere. From whatever we have been seeing, this is my understanding, and I am only sharing with you all. I might be totally wrong also. I hope it makes sense. And this Padmam is seen as a symbol of Jnanam. Why? Because generally the nature of lotus is it doesn't get wet in the water. Without being bothered by its environment or surrounding, which is the pond. It is muddy and swamp-like, right? In spite of that, the lotus or its leaf is not bothered by the external factors. It still blooms, performs its job, and vanishes. So this symbolically represents that we have to perform our karma without being bothered by external factors. We should not have any attachment to the result, and we should be untouched by the karma that we are performing. It's called Nishkamya Karma. We should not have any attachment to the result of our karma. This is given in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, 10th shloka. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sa papena padma patramivambhasa. There, Bhagavan says, perform your karma without attaching yourself to the result, just like a lotus leaf that is untouched by its waters. நம்ம இந்த ரஜினிகாந்த் படத்தில் கூட தாமரை இலை மேல் தண்ணீர் போல நீ ஒட்டி ஒட்டாமல் இருன்னு அதில் வரான் இல்லையா பாட்டு. அதுதான் இங்கே in this shloka, that is what is being told. Yaha sangam tyaktva karmani karoti. He who does all his karma with a arpana buddhi to Bhagavan, that is sarvam Shri Krishna arpanamastu, and doing his karma without having any attachment to the result of it, he will be untouched by the result of that karma, just as how the lotus leaf is untouched by the water. That karma will not stick to him. And we saw that lotus is a symbol of jnanam. And it is in Manasarovar, which is a sphatikam. The waters of Manasarovar are sphatikam, and Jnana Kamalam is born there. But here we are referring to the Kamalam that is born in swampy pond. Ilya serla varudhu tamara. Now what we have to understand is this muddy, swampy pond is the samsara sagara. And as we do our karma without attaching ourselves to the result, and when we do with arpana buddhi to Bhagavan, then chitta shuddhi happens. That is how that pond becomes Manasarovar. It becomes very clear, spatikam. Once chitta shuddhi has happened, then the jnanam is born, the jnana kamalam is born. And when we see these Padmam in our chakras, in our body, the bhakta is taking the root of Kundalini Shakti to awaken his Kundalini Shakti. And once Kundalini Shakti is awakened, it travels through all the other chakras and reaches the Sahasradala Padma in the Sahasrara Chakra, and the bhakta experiences Anandam. So this is also given in Saundarya Lahari, Shloka number 9. Mahim Moola Dhare is the starting. The last line is Sahasrare Padme Saha Rahasipatya Viharase. That is, the Kundalini Shakti is seen as Shakti traveling through all the other chakras and reaching the Sahasrara where Shiva is there. There she becomes Aikyam with Shiva, and that Sahasrara is the place where Sahasradala Padmam is there, 1000-petaled lotus. So this is the information I was able to collect, and I have shared whatever I understood to the best of my knowledge. There are a lot of other smaller details also, like the color of the lotus, Nilotpala, like that Pundarika. There are different names and different significance. And we also offer 108 lotus mala or 1008 lotus mala to any devata. When we do it bahyam, outside, we are trying to connect to our inside. That is the reason why we offer all this and the significance behind it. And coming back to Apita Kuchamba Stotram, such a lotus only Devi is holding in her hand playfully, and Appaya Dikshitar is asking her to comfort him with that lotus that has so much significance. It is the representation of Jnanam. So he is not merely asking her to ward off his jwaram. See, this shariram itself is a rogam. Taking jananam and then going through this janana marana chakram itself is a rogam. So he is not merely asking her to ward off the fever. He is asking for jnanam, moksham. Such a kamalam she is holding in her hand. If she touches him with that, straight moksham only. So that is what Appaya Dikshitar is asking in that shlokam, and we have seen the significance of kamalam everywhere. Whatever I know, I have shared it with you. Ram Ram Ram.